typically in the morning. You wait at the shanty till 7 o'clock. You go in at 7, you start working your way up the ladder, climbing up the steel. About every 2 floors you plank it off. Then you disconnect the mast, and you tie it to the boom on top of the choking cable. You get a heavy block on the job, probably weighs 200, 250 pounds, something like that. I started when I was 18 years old working structural steel. I've worked on towers 120 to 130 feet high. Now most people are afraid of heights like that, so right away, every iron worker's got an ego. You're doing something that somebody else can't do, and you get to wear a tool belt. Now when you're 18 years old, and you got your wrenches in like a holster, you feel like a cowboy or a sailor. Now if I put a 2x4 on the ground, I couldn't knock you off with a stick. But if I put it up 50 feet, and a little gust of wind comes and you overreact, you're going to end up falling off. That's why most iron workers start out as kids. 18 years old, just out of school. Guy next to you walks the beam, you're going to try walking the beam too. But iron workers very, very rarely fall in the hole. That's our term for it. Guy falls off a building, he fell in the hole. We talk a lot about it among ourselves. Hell, you iron work long enough, you're coming to some real scares. I find myself, I get a copper taste. You know, you put a penny in your mouth when you're a kid, you know the taste. A taste of fear, I guess. Anyway, as you get older, you reconcile with yourself that sometimes it's easier to just drop down and coon across the beam. Now it's easier, but you lose all the hair on the inside of your legs. You can always tell an iron worker because they don't have any hair on the inside of their legs. Another bad thing, up here, we don't have any outhouses or anything like that. So we piss down these columns. Everybody's always drunk the night before, so they have to expel themselves down these columns here. Now, the only problem with that is, something's going to happen where you have to work down below. Worst thing in the world, you got to burn something down there. It smells like you're cooking a toilet. But I was always going to be an iron worker. My older brothers were iron workers. My father was an iron worker. It was a natural progression. Now my father was very disappointed that I didn't go to college. Anyway, we had a college boy come by work this summer, a real smart kid. One day he sees a book in my back pocket, he's amazed. He says, "You read?" Now that can get to you sometimes. The non-recognition from other people. To call a man just a laborer, a woman just a housewife, it bothers you sometimes. You know, there are some mornings I look across the skyline for a building I worked on. Say that building right there. And I look down, and I can see a big fancy car pulling into the parking garage that I built. I know there's a guy from the burbs driving, and I know he's not thinking about me. But I think about him sometimes, driving his air-conditioned car to his air-conditioned office, just sitting back and enjoying the ride.